Why hello there and welcome back to Let's Play The World Ends With You! Last time we did pretty much everything the story had to offer. Today I'm gonna read you all these secret reports. You see, every time you complete all of the missions, all of the stars of a day as seen on the top screen, you acquire one of the secret reports. Click on the blue thing and you can read it. And I shall read them for you. As is common knowledge, all games in the UG take place under our supervision. However, this particular game is saddled with a nigh unbelievable set of extenuating circumstances catching the attention of the higher plane. Thus, I shall be taking a more hands-on role this time, as detailed in this report. The core differences in this game are as follows. Its role in plans for Shibuya's destruction, the composer's absence from the UG, the resulting limitations to his powers, and the game being played by a proxy. The composer has informed me of two major points: that he plans to destroy the UG, but also that his final decision will hinge on the outcome of his game with the conductor. A provisional rule for this game requires the composer to vacate the underground. It is unprecedented for the composer to be absent during a game. I cannot predict what effect it may have. Furthermore, the composer must lower the frequency of his vibe to travel from the UG to the RG, inevitably curtailing his abilities. Cryptic bullshit. Yes. This makes investigating the conductor and his strategy incredibly difficult, as the composer is still the only one who knows who and what I am. It means lingering in the UG to author reports carries a lethal risk. The greatest randomizer in the current game is the use of a hand-picked proxy to compete against the conductor in the composer's stead. No information on this person exists at present. While the situation seems dire, I believe the key to getting ahead of all of this is at hand. You see, time always builds upon the past. I have already located our key. It is a pin request from the conductor. Normally, the psych manifestations of pins are determined by one's imagination. Also, I wonder if that's the fusion pin or the red skull pin. Thus, by analyzing the pin, the user's imagination, or rather their true intentions, are revealed. Unfortunately, this order came through the composer and never came into contact with the conductor. Thus, I could not use it to determine the nature of his imagination. I too have lowered my vibe to tune into their UG, limiting my abilities. However, at this stage, realizing that this pin holds the key is sufficient. The possibility of forestalling the plans for the UG's destruction remains. And that's kind of how these reports go. And there's a lot of them. So many, in fact, that I think it will take me a little bit longer to read them all than anticipated. As the game was set to end, I felt an intense burst of soul. And that is so I found the composer's hand-picked proxy, Neku Sakuraba. Let it be noted that once danger was past, the soul he expelled rapidly tapered off. I shall define soul as it exists in the UG later. Cryptic bullshit. For now, let it suffice to say it is the energy he bears within him. His unstable soul is the result of a rift between his body and emotional mind. this discord can be traced to a few causes. His stance at all-inclusive soul composition, emotional confusion inhibiting the unity of his emotional self and physical body, and the exacerbation of that confusion by memory loss due to his entropy. However, anyone possessing such diverse soul can become a formidable wielder of imagination. The composer was right to choose this boy. Shibuya's fate may rest on how well he manages to stabilize his soul. To measure his stability and give him a harmonizer pin, it can only be used when he cooperates with his partner. Synchronizing with another hinges on his ability to first stabilize his own soul. Thus, successful use of the pin would indicate he has made progress on that front. The further he is able to push his and his partner's psych resonance through fusion, the greater his own internal stability will have become. The progress of his soul merits close observation henceforth. Allow me to redefine the composer's role. As I continue to observe the game's progress, I have a clear view of the enormous effect of the composer's absence. A clear definition of his duties are key to understanding the extent of this disruption. The composer holds absolute authority over the underground. By authority, I mean the right to determine rules. He is the only one who can change the composition of the Yuchi and sole creator of this Shibuya. The underground Shibuya is created and organized by the composer's rules, which pit players against Reapers in a struggle for survival. A new composer only arises when the previous one is defeated. The victor takes the victim's place. At this juncture, the new composer rewrites the rules of Yuchi Shibuya. However, there being no composer at all is a different situation. It means the rules that make up the Yuchi are invalid. In other words, without a composer, the Yuchi collapses. However, the composer's absence is still a secret. At present, only 3 people know: the composer himself, his opponent, the conductor, and the producer, May. The producer's role is that of a guardian over the game. For observation purposes, he must sometimes descend from the higher plane to the underground, while the producer is natively an entity from the higher plane. He can adjust the frequency of his vibe to visit the Yuchi and lower planes. Think of a radio. Going from station A to station Yuchi simply requires tuning in to a different frequency. The producer has the power to contact any and all beings in the underground. However, he is strictly prohibited from revealing his identity in the Yuchi. His existence endangers the stability of the rules and balance of the Yuchi and Archie. Thus, the producer's identity must stay a secret from Reapers and players, not to mention those in the Archie. He may freely contact only one person as the producer, and that is the composer. Also, yes, I'm drinking a sip of tea in between every single one of them. This is doing a number on my voice. It reminds me of that one time I did it with Rin in Katawa Shoujo. The Yuchi exists as a separate plane where the composer can judge the worth of men. Within it are Reapers and human players. It is infeasible for the composer to judge all of humanity by himself, so a filtering system utilizing the Reapers was created. The Reaper's Game. Reapers act as a test, weeding out unfit players. Upon becoming a Reaper, one's physical body changes, gaining incredible strength and an extended lifespan. As Reaper and player alike progress through the game, engaging in imagination-driven combat, their soul is refined. If you say so. Soul is abstract matter revealed through our research into life and death. As a component in the makeup of the atmosphere, humans will thought all phenomena. As Reapers execute the game, they undergo a process of evolution from grunts to officers to the composer. And some enjoy being grunts. Ho, ho, ho. However, Reapers that follow the ideal route are rare, and most are erased by players. Reaper or player, those erased within the game, disperse the mind and spirit housed within their flesh in the form of soul. Thus, they are erased only from visible existence. Their soul persists in the UG until gathered and tied together according to a new code. It's like what Honeycomber did with rhyme. Well, to be fair, Pinky and Lollipop did mention that noise are but a soul forged into a pin. Right before Rhyme died. Or when she died, basically. That's why I said it wasn't a Deus Ex Machina. That... well, it's pretty darn close, but it isn't. Ha! Don't mind me. T. This new code is essentially imagination. Given sufficient imagination, any form is possible, be it a pin or a Reaper. Variations in this code cause the soul to manifest in different forms. In other words, humans, Reapers, and noise are all entities formed of soul. The only difference is their code. And what a noise! Baby, don't hurt me! Entities without conscious will, only the drive to multiply. Thus, they constantly thirst for soul, attacking players and possessing humans in the real ground. Soul consumed by noise is destroyed, even if the noise is erased. Thus, possessed humans often exhibit a rush of euphoria immediately after the noise is removed. Though untested, the same would likely hold where a player or Reaper possessed. That sounds interesting. Unfortunately, it never happens in the game. The real ground and underground are planes of existence. Other planes exist as well, the one inhabited solely by noise, for example, our customary plane. The planes are stacked in parallel, though each exists at a different frequency vibe, in tune with its inhabitants. Basically, they are different dimensions. I think that's a more common term to put it. The same world, different worlds existing in the same place. Observing a lower plane from a higher plane is simple. Like we can see normal people running around while we are in the UG. Actual transplanar contact, while possible, is highly complex. The vibes of adjacent planes are closer, making passage between them comparatively easier. So in this game, an angel couldn't simply appear in the RG and act like nothing happened. No! However, a player becoming visible through one of these shop decals? Not so hard. More distant planes show greater differences in vibe frequencies, and thus communion becomes more difficult. The UG exists just above the RG, allowing those in the UG to observe the RG, but not vice versa. Noise exists on a special plane that straddles both the RG and UG, enabling the interference in the affairs of both. When players come into contact with noise, they are drawn into the noise plane. It's verified things! In other words, players are forcibly tuned into the noise plane. Conversely, there exists an even higher plane than the RG and UG. That is where I am from the plane of angels. Gee, I wonder who writes these reports. As in the RG and UG, angels have created a web of social schema to guide their activities. The role of producer is just one cog in the angel machine. Angel vibes are extremely high frequency, not even the composer can catch them all. That's why he never became a Pokemon trainer. In actuality, he can pick up only that of the producer. What a pity. As you can see, interplanar contact is beset by difficulty, but certain modes do exist for its realization. One is the modulator decal. Within its area of effect, players from the UG can manifest visibly in the RG and communicate with others there. It's what shops are working with. Reapers and the composer can down-tune their vibes at will. Near these decals. However, even their vibes will be forcibly adjusted to the lower frequency. Another mode, imprinting, requires no physical manifestation in the RG. Imprintees experience and convert those as bursts of inspiration. The reliability of these communiques thus depends upon the person receiving it. For example, successful communication with preoccupied people is unlikely. Furthermore, recipient interpretation of said inspiration colors the message, making imprinting unreliable at best. Blackout. Yes, I need to blackout. Remember, the guy was fun. Reaper Creeper was created as a mode of popular communication between the planes. Modulating paralogos printed on paper allow for limited UG interaction with real ground objects. As those in the RG are unaware of players, they perceive the illusion of a coin moving by itself. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this down to size. I receive periodic communication from the composer. While we maintain contact, I am prohibited from providing him with information for risk of unbalancing the game. I am permitted only to respond to his commissions for certain items, and even then am able only to create and deliver said items. Livering items, 'tis a thing. The composer has requested increased phone functionality for use in the next game. Oh yeah! Today the proxy's partner, one Shiki Misaki, freed herself from her defining value, envy. With this, the composer is convinced of the proxy's victory on the 7th day. His confidence arises because the proxy's intervention was indispensable in causing his partner's growth. It signals the proxy's departure from his obsessive self-actualization loop. Previously, even the composer was unsure of his proxy's capacity for growth. But now he's fallen in love with the guy. Oh well. Normally, if the composer possesses a certain degree of clairvoyant foresight, His current down-tuned state, however, limits his abilities, clouding this super-temporal vision. Though able to observe the Yuchi from the real ground, he is otherwise saddled with limitations. For one, his outward appearance. He looks younger than he would at full vibe frequency within the Yuchi. Fortunately, this prevents the Reapers from recognizing him as the Composer. To begin with, the Composer contacts Reapers only through the Conductor, so most are unaware of what he looks like. Additionally, as a being in the underground with the highest vibe, some lesser Reapers are even incapable of perceiving him. The effects of downtuning occur because the Composer's vibe and the Archie's frequency are substantially different. For Reapers, the downtuning necessary to exist in the Archie is significantly less, and thus affects less prominent changes. Yes? I think so. Oh well. That said, it depends on the Reaper. At any rate, the effect is minimal, making Reapers much more frequent visitors to the real ground. Provided they complete their duties, Reapers may do as they wish in the Archie, within certain accepted boundaries. As the Composer predicted, the Proxy has won the game. So what happens to those who survive the week? Those whose imagination is less than outstanding are broken down into soul, but those with excellent imagination become Reapers. The most talented of these may travel to the next plane, inhabited by us angels. Diligent Reapers too may pass through the office of Composer to ascend to the plane of angels. In other words, if you don't do well during the game, you get to do the whole Reaper shebang. Great. Now what if? This may sound odd, but one may also choose to be reincarnated. Well, the word reincarnation is not quite accurate, for the humans of the Yuchi are not truly dead. They merely possess different soul code and have been tuned into a different plane. So what are they then? The Angels do not consider it a loss if a talented player elects to return to the real ground, as their superior imagination will inspire other humans. Upon returning to his life, the exceptional player's creative activities soon make their mark upon society. His art, music and other output become a part of culture, spreading and persisting through time, refining people's imagination even without personal contact with the player. Certainly this requires time, but no one has ever accused Angels of being in a hurry. Except maybe in Devil Survivor, but let's put that aside. The Composer's absence during this particular game, however, means that reincarnation is not an option. Yeah, no Composer, no Shiki coming back to life. That was kind of a problem in the first game. Fortunately, the Composer got around it by taking her as an entry fee, so there's that. Only the Composer possesses the level of imagination necessary to reincarnate. It is beyond the Conductor's means. The Conductor continues to act as if the Composer were present, but this fast can only continue for so long. I will be watching with great curiosity to see how the Conductor responds once his ruse unravels. As I was busy writing reports, the boy in my custody, Beat, went missing. Beat had expressed curiosity in how noise was created. Perhaps he plans to ask a Reaper, but even without specific instructions from them, he has the ability now. I gave him a pin filled with a special imagination required to create noise, and imprinted him with instructions for its use. This does not qualify as interference in the game. The information I gave him will have no impact on the game results. And that's true, he didn't interfere with the game at all. It was merely a token of my esteem for his unflinching passion towards what he holds dear. Whether he uses this power and how is completely up to him. And with that, I leave it for today. I'll read the next ones in the next 2 episodes. So I lied, I need more than just 2 or 3 episodes to finish this game. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This is Legion and fare thee well.